Download our app available from the App Store and Play Store.
Hello and welcome to Medical Dialogues, your daily dose of health and medical news. I am Dr. Nandita Mohan. Let's look at today's daily bulletin. The All India Institute of Medical Sciences Delhi cyber attack that crippled the services of the premier institute was carried out by Chinese hackers. Of 100 servers, that was 40 physical and 60 virtual, 5 physical servers were successfully infiltrated by the hackers, but data from them has been successfully retrieved. In its latest drug safety alert, the apex drug regulatory body, the Central Drug Standards Control Organization, has flagged 83 medicine batches for failing to qualify for a random drug sample test for the month of November 22. This came after analysis and tests conducted by the CDSCO Drugs Control Department on 1,487 samples. Out of these, 1,404 samples were found to be of standard quality, while 83 of them were declared as not of standard quality. While the aspirants are preparing to appear for the upcoming screening test foreign medical graduate examination, some unscrupulous elements are trying to dupe them in the name of providing exam questions. Concerned with the same hindering the interest of the FMGE candidates, the NBE has recently issued an alert alarming all the students and authorities against social media groups befooling aspirants for FMGE December 22, scheduled to be held on 20th January 2023.
High levels of lipoprotein A, a type of bad cholesterol, may be associated with an 18 to 20% of high risk of cardiovascular disease among people who have hypertension. However, CVD risk was not higher among those without hypertension, according to new research published recently in Hypertension Journal. Lipoproteins, which are made up of protein and fat, carry cholesterol through the blood. The subtypes of lipoproteins include low-density lipoprotein or LDL, high-density lipoprotein or HDL, and lipoprotein A. Much like LDL cholesterol, lipoprotein A cholesterol may deposit and build up in the walls of blood vessels, thus increasing a person's risk of a heart attack or stroke. Late-breaking research reveals a major treatment advance for adults with newly diagnosed B-lineage acute lymphoblastic leukemia or ALL. The randomized phase 3 study E1910 evaluated blinatumomab immunotherapy in patients with a good prognosis after an initial round of chemotherapy. After about 3.5 years of follow-up, 83% of the patients who went on to receive additional standard consolidation chemotherapy plus experimental blinatumomab were alive versus 65% of those who received chemotherapy only. Blinatumomab is a targeted drug that directs a patient's T cells to recognize malignant B cells and destroy them. It has 2 FDA approvals for patients with B-lineage ALL, those with relapsed or refractory disease approved in 2014, and those in first or second complete remission who test positive for MRD at greater than or equal to 0.01% approved in 2018. Females' propensity to deposit more fat in places like their hips, buttocks, and the backs of their arms, so-called subcutaneous fat, is protective against brain inflammation, which can result in problems like dementia and stroke, at least until menopause, scientists report. To learn more about how the brain becomes inflamed, they looked at increases in the amount and location of fat tissue, as well as levels of sex hormones and brain inflammation in male and female mice at different time intervals as they grew fatter on a high-fat diet. A randomized controlled trial of more than 100 persons with type 2 diabetes found that a low-carb, high-fat, calorie, unrestricted diet helped patients achieve better weight loss and glucose control over a 6-month intervention compared to a high-carb, low-fat diet. The changes were not sustained 3 months after the intervention, suggesting a need for long-term dietary changes to maintain meaningful health benefits. Researchers from the University of Southern Denmark randomly assigned 165 persons with type 2 diabetes to either a low-carb, high-fat diet or a high-carb, low-fat diet for 6 months. Participants in both groups were asked to eat the same number of calories equal to their energy expenditure. Participants on the low-carb diet were asked to eat no more than 20% of their calories from carbs, but could have 50 to 60% of their calories from fat and 20 to 30% from protein. Patients on the low-fat diet were asked to eat about half of their calories in carbs and the rest evenly split between fats and proteins. That's all for today. Stay tuned to Medical Dialogues for latest updates.
Never miss a medical update from Medical Dialogues. Like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.